Rick Pitino and his St. John's basketball squad starts Big East play tonight. They host Xavier out in Queens. So let's talk all things Red Storm basketball with New York Post basketball reporter Zach Braziller. It's time to take y'all, boom, Zach to school. Hey, Zach, we got to get like a graphic or a wipe or some sort of animation for that so I don't have to do it anymore. You ready to do this?
Let's go.
All right, 10 games in, St. John's, 7-3 is the record. You got a chance to speak with Coach Pitino. What's he saying about the roster, chemistry, and where this team is right now heading into conference play?
Look, he's still not sure what he has. And I think St. This team is still very much a mystery to most people. You know, they've had some really good games. They've had some shaky ones. Their defense hasn't been great. But, you know, here they are, Big East play, home tonight against Xavier, a game they're favored to win. You know, I still think it's a team that's going to be in the tournament mix. Maybe they haven't quite lived up to expectations so far, but I still think it's a team that come March will be right there. Pitino's teams always get much better as the year goes on. I do see this team getting better, maybe not quite as fast as people want, but it is improving. Joel Soriano's been phenomenal. Chris Ledlum's been really good. The backcourt needs to be more consistent. I'm really interested to see just kind of how this team handles Big East play.
Well, I'm definitely going to ask you your thoughts now, in the next question. But for Coach Pitino to kind of not know, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
I mean, I think it kind of depends on if you're a glass half full guy or a glass half empty guy. You know, I also think with him it depends on the day. You know, some days you go in there and you ask him and you expect him to be positive and he goes negative. Some days you go in and you expect him to be negative and he goes positive. I think he really doesn't know because there are days when this team has looked really good. They beat Utah, a team that's ranked top 30 in the country. You know, they beat a good North Texas team. They played awesome defense against Fordham. And then there have been games like against Dayton and Boston College where their defense hasn't shown up and they haven't looked like a good team. You know, they definitely still, I believe, have the talent to be a tournament team and to be a top half team in the Big East. But they got to be more consistent. And to me, it's all about the backcourt. It's about them getting more out of Jordan Dingle, Naheem Aline, and Davis Jenkins. You got three seniors, really experienced guys who need to be more consistent. And I'm not just talking offense. It's about both ends of the floor. And tonight they're going to be huge. Xavier's got a terrific backcourt. Now, I think St. John's will control the front court, but if St. John's gets exposed in the backcourt, that'll be trouble. They need those seniors to play like seniors to play well.
All right, so Coach P hitting you guys with the Jedi mind tricks. The Force is strong in that one and the hair gel. And speaking of gel, how do you feel like this roster has gelled? And what do you think about their chances in the Big East?
Yeah, look, it's maybe taken a little longer than I expected. The defense has been an issue, as you know, we talked about. It's a brand new team. You know, some of the freshmen, Simeon Wiltshire has struggled. Brady Dunlap has struggled. The transfer from Kansas, Zuby Ejiofor, who I thought would be a little better, hasn't quite, you know, played up to his level. But then you have guys like Joel Soriano, who's probably exceeded my expectations. I've loved what Glenn Taylor Jr., the transfer from Oregon State, has given them as a glue guy and as a defender. You know, I feel like Lev has really come along. You know, this is a team that's second in the country offensive rebounding percentage. They've been a tremendous offensive rebounding team, which is part of why they've been, you know, they're ranked in the top 50 in offensive efficiency. So there are positives too. You know, to me, it's about consistency. I still say this is a top 6 team in the Big East, and I think a top 6 team in the Big East will make the NCAA tournament. But look, they gotta start well here. It's a tough early part of the schedule with the Big East. They go to UConn Saturday. They got trips to Villanova and Creighton on the horizon, which will be very tough. They got to win their home games. You know, in this league, you know they have Xavier at home tonight. They have Butler at home. Right after New Year's. Those are the games, if you want to be a tournament team, you have to win. And I'm not saying this is a must-win tonight, but I feel like winning games like this are so important for this team, building up confidence and kind of building that chemistry we've talked about.
Especially on their Big East debut, I guess you can call it. I know they've been in the conference for a while, but like this is a new roster, and this is their chance to kind of show for Pitino and gang to show what they're all about out there in Queens. So you've kind of mentioned some of the other teams that's in this conference. The Big East is stacked, man. So who are some of your top teams right now? Who do you think is overhyped 10 games into the season?
Hey, look, I've been very disappointed with Villanova. I thought Villanova was a top 20 team on paper coming to this year, maybe even top 15. And they've had some good wins, but then they lose to Penn. They lose to Drexel. They lose to a rebuilding Kansas State. Villanova has disappointed me. UConn, to me, is the best team in the country. Forget the league. I love UConn. I think UConn has a really legit shot to repeat as national champions. Providence has been a surprise. They were, new coach Kim English. They went and they manhandled Marquette last night. They beat Wisconsin, a top 25 team. Providence looks like they're better than projected. I still really like Marquette. I think Marquette's a Final Four contender. I really like Creighton. I think those are, I mentioned Villanova. I think those are probably the top 5 teams in the league right there. And then I think 6 is up for grabs between Butler, between St. John's, Xavier. You want to throw Seton Hall in the mix? I probably wouldn't, but I know there's some people maybe think they could climb that high. But those are, to me, are the top 5 teams. This order: UConn, Marquette, Creighton, Villanova, Providence. I know Providence fans are going to tell me I'm too low on them after their big win, but those are kind of how I would group the top 5 right now. Long season, long way to go, but to me, it's going to be a fascinating year in the league.
All right, man. Got us excited about that. But, yeah, Big East, every year it's always great basketball that's being played within that conference. You guys just got taking Zach to school. Zach, thanks for hopping on with us. We got to get that graphic animation, man.
Let's go, man. Let's go. I appreciate it. Anytime, man.